everyone, I'm Kita and welcome back to the Travel Becomes Me channel. In today's video, we're going to be speaking with a very good friend of mine, Kamilah O'Brien, the Focus Spender, about the things you should think about when you are travel budgeting and saving for travel. But before we get into it, if this is your first time tuning into the Travel Becomes Me channel, I'm Kita. I'm a finance lawyer and author, but most importantly, and probably the reason why you're here, I'm a luxury travel enthusiast and coach that has been to over 60 countries and overseas territories using strategies and tools that I've learned assist with traveling lux for less. So if you like the content of this video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. And also make sure that you share the video with anybody else who you think it might be helpful for. So let's get into today's topic. So today, in just a few moments, I'm going to share with you my very good friend, Kamilah O'Brien, who is a finance expert, a personal finance expert. And she has a popular YouTube channel in which she shares strategies for you to get out of debt and build wealth. Welcome, everyone. We're here with my very, very good friend, Kamilah O'Brien, also known as the Focused Spender. She has a fabulous YouTube channel that you should check out. And she is an expert in a variety of things, but primarily focuses on how to get out of debt and build generational wealth. And so today she's here to talk to us a little bit about how to save for travel. As we've discussed in the past, while we like to reduce the amount of money that we're spending by using non-cash resources, there is almost no way to get rid of the cash portion of travel altogether. So it's very important to have, as part of your travel budgeting strategy, some cash that's saved and put away. So we have our fabulous expert here with us today to discuss some very helpful strategies with us on that. Before we jump into the topic, Camilla, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Kita. So like Kita said, I have a channel called Focus Spender. I have been on YouTube for the past, I don't know, about 10 years, basically telling all of my stories about how I got out of debt. I had $65,000 worth of student loan debt, and I was able to get rid of it in just about 3 years. And I documented a portion of that progress on YouTube. And then I also, since then, have been really heavily invested in investing. I love, buying stocks and talking to people about how to invest their money in terms of building wealth and leaving a lasting legacy. And by day, I am a financial manager with an accounting firm in New York City. So thank you for having me, Kita.
It is my pleasure. Plus, I've known Camilla since I was 10 years old. So
yes,
she is
I was 11.
So she is very near and dear to my heart. So first, let's talk a little bit about how one should think about putting aside money generally, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I like to talk about is making sure that you have sort of like a mapped out strategy, because it makes it a lot easier when a surprise deal pops up to be ready to hit the trigger and do whatever purchase is necessary. So what kind of strategies would you suggest to people in terms of saving more generally for travel?
So a lot of people don't like to hear this word, but the word is budgeting. But there's definitely different ways you can budget your money. So I recently did a video where I went through a few different types of budgeting. And one type of budgeting, which I think would be perfect for someone that is interested in traveling, is a goal-based budget. And when you're creating a goal-based budget, you're really trying to figure out, like, what is that one thing that I really want to do above and beyond everything else? And if the word is travel, then you need to be saving your money with thinking about that in mind. So you're creating your budget where, you have your travel goal, like, okay, I'm going to save $2,000 so that I can go on a fabulous vacation. So then how do I budget my money around that so that any excess money that's not going towards my bills is going to be going towards me saving for a vacation. So you need to create a budget however you do it, whether you do it in Excel, whether you do it in a budgeting app, but you want to make sure that that is what you are focused on. And when your money comes in, that is what you should be doing first. You should be saving first and then spending on your other wants after.
Excellent, excellent. So are there any particular, so goal-based saving, right? So that's very important. The goal here being travel or luxury travel. Now, are there any types of specific saving strategies? So you set the goal, you know what you need. How would you go about doing the actual saving?
So the things I like to do the most is to create sinking funds. So a sinking fund is basically a bank account, or even if you don't want to do it via a bank account, maybe you are someone that likes to save cash and you have a bunch of envelopes. You're basically creating different accounts for different purposes. So let's say you look at your savings, your general savings account, and you have 10 different sinking funds. So every fund is going to go for a specific purpose. So one of those purposes would be travel, or you're saving for something that you know is going to happen in the future, but you just don't know how much money you're going to need. So I personally do have a vacation sinking fund where every time I get paid, I put in about $100 into that sinking fund. I don't know where I'm going, especially now that we're, in a pandemic, or a panorama, as people like to call it. I don't know when we're going to be going anywhere, but I like to just put money every time I get paid into that vacation sinking fund, so that when something comes up, when someone's like, you know what, let's go on a girls trip, or so-and-so is getting married, or we found this amazing deal, I don't have to say, gosh, where am I going to get the money? Or let me just, charge it without thinking about how I'm going to pay it off. I have that vacation sinking fund in my bank account that's just sitting there waiting for me to, buy my ticket and withdraw the money. But the key to having a successful fund, because I think what people do a lot of times is they say, oh, I just have a savings account. They put all of their money in that one massive savings account without thinking about like what else you're saving for. So there are certain banks where you can create multiple savings accounts. I use Capital One. I know that Ally Bank allows you to do the same thing. Bank of America allows you to open multiple accounts as well. But what I do is I will go into my Capital One. I will click on Add Account, and then I will name it a certain category. So in this case, vacation. And so every time I get paid, automatically on payday, that is the keyword. This has to happen automatically. You cannot have to think about it. Automatically on payday, $100 will come out of my bank account, out of my checking account, and go straight into my vacations travel fund.
So I just had one final question for you. So it's automatic transfers. Are these accounts where the money is readily accessible, like you can transfer back and forth, or does there tend to be kind of a delay, or would you suggest that there be kind of a delay in having the funds accessible to you in order to encourage saving?
So it really depends on what your actual long-term goal is. For me, with my sinking funds, because I know I want to have that money at the drop of a hat, it's very easily accessible. So within Capital One, I have a checking account, and then I have my sinking funds all together. So let's say I want to take advantage of using my credit card so that I can gain points. I can buy my ticket using my credit card, and the second I hit buy, I can then go into my bank account and transfer that money over to my checking account and then pay the bill. So when it comes to something like a sinking fund where you're going to need that money to be in your hands very quickly, you definitely want it to be easily accessible. If it's your emergency fund where, if it's your emergency fund where it's a large pot of money in case you lose your job, then you don't necessarily want to have that too accessible, depending on you. For me, I have self-discipline when it comes to my money. So it's fine. Honestly, I'm like, it doesn't matter. The money could be right sitting next to me. I'm not going to spend it on something else. But if you know that you will see that money and you might just spend it just because you see it, you might want to have it linked to a different checking account that, will take a couple of days to transfer over. But I personally don't see any problem with having the money all together in a checking account, savings account situation where you can transfer the money pretty much immediately. Excellent. What do you suggest?
I think that's fabulous. I mean, I think it's very important to understand yourself.
Yeah.
And so if you know that you are the type of person that if that money is going to take several days to get to you, you're less likely to spend it, then you set up a strategy where there's a little bit of a delay. If you are the type of person where you know that when you've allocated money for something, you are not going to use that money for anything other than that something, then you go with a strategy where it's more accessible. So I think it's more so understanding who you are as a person and setting yourself up for success based upon your personality. So I 100% agree. So just to recap the three things that we have talked about today. So number one, set up a goal-based saving strategy. So think about in the context of where you'd like to go, how much it might cost you overall between cash and non-cash resources, and make sure you're saving the related amount that you need in order to make your wildest dreams a reality. So that's number one. Number two, utilize specialized sinking funds in order to make sure that you're saving your goal for the period of time for which you want to travel. And then number three, when you are setting up these strategies, be honest with yourself.
Yes. Yes. Say it again for the people in the back.
Be honest with yourself. You want to set up a strategy where you will be successful. And part of that is understanding who you are and what's going to lead to that success. So this is
Can I add one more takeaway?
Yeah.
Automate. Like, I think that's been like the key to everything that I've done, is that I'm not thinking about things and I'm not forgetting to save. A lot of people say, oh, I forgot to save. You didn't forget to save. You didn't want to save. So you have to make it automatic. Just go into your bank account, set up that recurring transfer, and you'll be all good.
Fabulous, fabulous. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is Camilla and I also had a conversation over on her channel about the three pillars of saving substantial amounts of money on luxury travel, or creating a low-cost luxury travel experience. So you should head over to her channel and check that out. I'm sure you're going to love all the great tips that we're going to talk about over there.
And the link will be in the description box below for this video, so you won't be able to say, I couldn't find it. Just click on that.
Correct. Okay, Camilla, tell the people where they can find you.
So you can find me at youtube.com/FocusSpender. You can find me on Instagram at FocusSpender. If you're a tweeter, you can find me on Twitter at FocusSpender. Basically, anywhere you think, just look for at FocusSpender and you should be able to find me.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming to the channel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.